Right now, your brain is your worst enemy. Every time you sit down to study, it launches psychological warfare against you. It whispers that you're too stupid to understand calculus, too slow to memorize history, too distracted to focus on chemistry. Your own mind has become a bully that follows you everywhere, sabotaging every attempt at success. This internal terrorism isn't accidental, it's programmed. Years of academic failure have trained your neural pathways to expect defeat. Your brain literally rewired itself for losing. But here's something schools will never tell you, because it would make them obsolete. Intelligence isn't fixed, it's trainable. Those straightest students you worship aren't genetically superior. They accidentally stumbled upon mental programming techniques that transform ordinary brains into learning machines. Today, you stop stumbling and start systematically rebuilding your mind from the ground up. The first technique they use is emotional hijacking. Your brain doesn't store information, it stores experiences wrapped in emotion. This is why you remember every embarrassing moment from middle school, but forget important formulas 5 minutes after learning them. Embarrassment has emotional weight. Formulas don't. Elite students weaponize this by injecting raw emotion into everything they learn. They don't just memorize that mitochondria produces cellular energy. They connect it to the exhaustion they felt after running a marathon, the desperate need for energy, the relief when strength returns. That emotional anchor makes forgetting impossible. They don't just read about the Revolutionary War. They feel the rage of oppressed colonists, the fear of soldiers facing death, the euphoria of hard-won freedom. When emotion brands information into memory, studying transforms from repetition into experience. Your brain stops fighting you and starts working for you. Their second weapon is trigger engineering. While average students try to memorize entire textbooks, like human copy machines, elite students compress massive amounts of information into single-word triggers that explode into complete understanding on command. Instead of memorizing 5 paragraphs about photosynthesis, they create the trigger sunlight factory. 2 words that instantly unlock every detail about how plants convert light into energy. When exam panic strikes and minds go blank, these triggers fire like emergency flares, illuminating everything needed for perfect answers. This is how they access encyclopedic knowledge in seconds, while others frantically search through mental chaos. They don't have better memories, they have better memory systems. Now comes the focus protocol that separates champions from casualties. Most students study in environments designed for failure, music blasting, phones buzzing, conversations surrounding them like acoustic quicksand. They're trying to learn advanced concepts while their brains process dozens of competing inputs. This is neurological suicide. Elite students create sensory deprivation chambers for their minds. Complete silence. Zero distractions. 45 minutes of pure, uninterrupted focus, where their brains enter alpha wave states that make information absorption effortless. During this sacred window, learning stops feeling like work and starts feeling like downloading. They're not struggling to understand, they're simply receiving knowledge directly into long-term storage. After 45 minutes, they take exactly 10 minutes to mentally replay everything absorbed, forcing their brains to convert temporary memories into permanent knowledge. While you're fighting your environment, they're engineering it for victory. Here's where they truly separate themselves from the pack: identity programming. Elite students don't just use better study techniques, they become different people. Every day, they program their subconscious minds with surgical precision, replacing limiting beliefs with empowering identities. They don't think, "I hope I do well on this test." They think, "I dominate every academic challenge placed before me." They don't say, "I'll try to remember this formula." They declare, "My mind locks information permanently and retrieves it instantly." This isn't positive thinking, this is neural reprogramming. Their subconscious minds receive these commands and reshape reality to match them. While your brain sabotages you with doubt, theirs works tirelessly to prove their superiority correct. The reverse review technique. They use borders on genius. While normal students review material from beginning to end like robots following programming, elite students review backwards, starting with the final concept and working toward the first. This approach builds memory pathways from multiple angles, creating redundant neural networks that make forgetting physically impossible. They're not just learning information, they're architecting unbreakable knowledge structures in their minds. When exam pressure hits, they have multiple pathways to every answer. While others experience terrifying mental blanks, they experience calm certainty. Test day reveals who's been preparing and who's been pretending. Elite students don't walk into exams hoping for the best. They enter as predators stalking prey. 24 hours before any test, they enforce complete information lockdown. No new material, no desperate cramming, no panic studying. They understand that last-minute input corrupts what's already stored. Instead, they review only their triggers, those compressed knowledge bombs they've built throughout their preparation. The night before battle, they activate the whisper protocol, quietly reciting key concepts to themselves, activating multiple memory pathways simultaneously. On test morning, they don't pray for miracles because they've engineered their own success. While classmates sweat through anxiety attacks, they operate with surgical precision, methodically dismantling every question with programmed responses. Your daily transformation requires military discipline, but delivers miraculous results. Every afternoon, you'll spend exactly 10 minutes organizing your materials and selecting your target subject. You'll inject emotional anchors to make information unforgettable. You'll construct triggers to make knowledge instantly accessible. You'll enter alpha-focus states to make learning effortless. You'll program your identity to make success inevitable. This isn't just studying, this is systematic personality reconstruction. You're not improving your study habits, you're becoming someone who doesn't know how to fail. Every academic failure you've experienced was simply the predictable result of using broken strategies in a rigged system. Every all-nighter spent rereading the same chapter, every test walked out in defeat, every report card that felt like a prison sentence, none of that reflected your intelligence. It reflected your methods. Those methods die today. Today you acquire the exact same neural programming that transforms ordinary students into academic legends. Maybe your teachers have convinced you that you're not college material. Maybe your parents have lowered their expectations. Maybe you've failed so many times that hope feels dangerous. None of that programming survives. What happens next? Because the choice standing before you will determine whether you spend the rest of your life accepting mediocrity or demanding excellence. You can continue using the same broken approaches that have kept you trapped in academic purgatory. Keep highlighting textbooks in pretty colors. Keep reading the same paragraphs over and over. Keep walking into exams terrified and unprepared. Keep accepting that some people are just naturally smarter while you're naturally average. Or you can steal every technique that elite students use to dominate. You can reprogram your brain for success instead of failure. You can become the student that others watch with silent admiration, wondering how you make it look so effortless. Someone watching this video will implement these strategies immediately. Someone will transform their neural programming today. Someone will walk into their next exam with unshakable confidence. Someone will go from academic casualty to academic predator. The only question is whether that someone will be you. Because while you're hesitating, someone else is already downloading this system. Someone else is already becoming unstoppable. Your future self is watching this moment, waiting to see what you decide. Choose like your entire destiny depends on it. Because it does. So buckle up. Because your mediocre student identity dies today.